Welcome to Business with Teacher T. In this video, we're going to look at global marketing. Don't forget to subscribe to the Teacher T channel and click that all-important notification bell. There are many reasons why a business may want to expand internationally. These range from spreading risk, so as not to just focus on the domestic market, to wanting to grow as markets may become saturated. You should check out the Teacher T video on conditions at prompt trade, which go into that in more detail. Now, global marketing. This refers to the marketing strategies used by businesses when operating in global markets. The elements of the marketing mix may be the same or different according to which part of the global market a business, such as Urban Outfitters, is currently in. The global marketing strategy will link to the 4 Ps of the marketing mix. Now, if you remember about the 4 Ps, they are product, price, place, and promotion. So a business would need to consider if they're going to make changes to the product, maybe the packaging or the ingredients, the price, they might perhaps have to lower it, the place, and also how they would promote it on a global scale. Now, globalization. This is an approach to global marketing that maintains a consistent brand image across the world, but makes adaptations to overseas markets. The word globalization comes from the word globalization and localization. Now we're going to take a look at 3 different models a business can adopt when considering a global marketing strategy. So the global marketing approaches that we will look at in this video are ethnocentric, geocentric, and polycentric. So the ethnocentric model is a domestic approach, and that's when products and marketing strategies are not changed for overseas market. There's a standardized approach. Whereas a geocentric approach is a mix between both ethnocentric and polycentric. And there are some changes to products and marketing strategies in these overseas markets. The polycentric model is an international approach, and that's where the products and the marketing strategies are changed to suit these overseas markets. The ethnocentric model is where businesses take a domestic approach. This is where other countries are treated as if they have the same likes and dislikes and preferences. With this model, overseas markets are seen to be almost identical to the domestic market. This type of approach expects consumers in overseas markets to welcome and accept the company's products as they are. They won't adapt its product to the market it wants to sell to, and they won't change a pricing strategy. There are no changes in the local market. With the domestic approach, the view is taken that what is good for the home country is good for all markets. They make little or no effort to adapt. An example of a business that has adopted the ethnocentric model is Apple. An advantage is that they can benefit from economies of scale, as the products are standardized and they do not have to adapt to the local market. They can have lower cost savings on raw materials and can produce at a large scale. With economies of scale comes a reduction in unit costs, boosting profit margins. However, a disadvantage is that products may not sell if local needs and preferences are not taken into account. The business could be taking a risk if the product does not sell well. Let's look at an example. So Kraft manufacture Oreos. Now they started to sell their biscuits in China. They did not want to change it from the original American classic it is. They used the same ingredients, the same packaging, and sold it for relatively the same amount that they would in the US. They did not adapt it at all, and the cookies or biscuits did not sell well. They were losing money on it. They started to do some research and found that the Chinese were value conscious, and they found the cookies to be too sweet. So therefore, they adapted the cookies to suit the Chinese market. They changed the size of the packets so it was more affordable, And as they recognized that wafers were very popular amongst the Chinese, they introduced a chocolate-covered flavored wafer stick. They managed to adapt some of the local needs while still retaining core elements of the cookie. So, since they adopted more of a geocentric approach, they have become one of the most popular cookies in China. Let's take a look at what a geocentric model is. The geocentric model is also known as the mixed approach, and it's argued to be the best one as it combines both the ethnocentric model and the polycentric model. This model tries to manage matters that can be approached globally from an ethnocentric approach, whilst taking into account local wants and preferences from a polycentric approach. This model helps to maintain and promote the global brand whilst tailoring the product to local markets. And it's associated with localization, which is about adapting to the local market. A benefit of the geocentric model is that it helps businesses such as Nestle, who manufacture Kit Kat in most countries, become more competitive as they are operating in different markets and aware of the needs and preferences of these markets, which can aid them in gaining more sales. So as you can see, they've created the cherry flavored Kit Kat, and that's marketed within the Japanese market. However, a disadvantage is that adapting to these overseas markets can be quite costly. And we look at that when we look at the polycentric model. The polycentric model is where businesses would take an international approach. This is where a business approaches all markets to be different, and this is where they adapt the product to meet local needs and preferences. Each country is treated as being unique. Decisions are made at a local level and are designed to suit the needs and preferences of the local market. With this approach, it assumes that the managers in overseas markets are not strictly confined to stick with the decisions made in the home market. An advantage of the polycentric model is that the business can sell products that specifically target the customers in the host country, and that increases local brand loyalty. An example of this is the way that Pizza Hut in Japan have included certain toppings that cater to that given market. So there's certain toppings on the pizza such as potatoes and mayonnaise and shrimp. So this means that they are aware of the local needs and wants of that market and they're catering towards it. However, developing a specific product to a particular country can be expensive. It includes research, developing the product that would meet the local needs, testing the market, analysing this research, and this has to be done continuously for some time until they get it right. It's also time consuming, and the business is less likely to benefit from economies of scale, which they would have done with the ethnocentric approach. It can also be difficult to compete with local brands in that market that are already established. Thanks for watching this video. If you're liking the business vibe, don't forget to subscribe.